Good morning, Mulgore. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to talk about what we could possibly see in this year and a half that would keep SoD, alive, as well as keep, people playing SoD and keep it going. And I think that takes the form of not new content, not going after it, but re-releasing Season of Discovery in the sense of SoD Fresh and or SoD Hardcore, an official SoD Hardcore, that is, not just SoD with the add-on, because that's the officialness makes it legit. If you die on the official hardcore server without extraordinary circumstances like a DDoS attack, you're done. There's no question of, oh, is it legit? Are you cheating with the add-on, appeals, etc., etc. So, with that being in mind, I think SoD Fresh would be really, it'd be different, but I think it'd be fun. When we look back on, Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, all the stuff that was added to the game with runes, abilities, talents, and all the things that were changed a bunch, SoD really kind of looks like a completely different game from Phase 1 all the way here to Phase 8. Even on, the quality of life scale, just so much quality of life was added here in Season of Discovery. It seems weird to say this now, but, they even took some of the features and put them in Anniversary. The instant mail. That was such a huge thing, you have to wait an hour for mail to go between your accounts. That is really awesome, and that wasn't in the original Season of Discovery. They added that, I think, at going into BWL phase, and it was such a hit that they just implemented it everywhere. So instant mail between your account is huge, and so many little small things like that. And so the question is, if they relaunched it, what would that look like, Big questions are, do they just give you 1 to 60 straight into MC right off the rip? There are some pros to that, and there are some cons. So, obviously, for the first time ever, we saw sort of a phasal launch with Season of Discovery, where 25 was the end game, 40 was the end game, 50 was the end game, and then we truly got to the end game with in-game rating. And, Phase 1 and 2 were massive successes. Phase 3, when it became 20 players, as well as a very hard raid, that is where the player base sort of dropped off a cliff. Cataclysm also came out during that time as well. And they didn't give us a new PvP event for that. They just kind of redid the Blood Moon Invasion, so the PvPers kind of just had to do the same thing they were already doing, and that never feels good. And then, don't even get me started on incursions, but is that, if they did a fresh, is that something you guys would want? Me personally, I would want to see it, let us go crazy. Now, the only thing that trivializes is sort of level up raids, but you could say it trivializes them, but, with the XP buff removed, right, I don't think we should have the XP buff if they did a fresh launch to let people go out there and get it and play the game and, have a nice leveling. Maybe 50%. When you add the XP buff, you sort of make everything turbo. You just make everything so much faster, and people don't really get to the time to enjoy the world. I've been doing my hardcore raw dog challenge as of late, playing just hardcore classic with no add-ons, and it's really made me appreciate the world and just how much, and just taking the game slow instead of just giga blasting 1 to 60. And, it makes the experience and the journey just that much better. When you level up, it feels satisfying. When you're getting new stuff, it feels awesome. When you're having to think about your adventure and not just follow some arrow on your screen to go here, do this. It's really fun, and it adds to the game and lets you appreciate the game in a brand new light. So that's what I've been doing with that. And I think, I personally would like no XP buff. I do think there's no way to not have the Rune Broker, as well as give us, everyone could have all their runes from the rip. I think that is a fair trade-off if no XP buff, because you will have so much power and you'll be able to do things, having those, in-game runes and all of them. I know a lot of people, when the Rune Broker came out, even went and leveled, and they said they had an absolute blast leveling with those, leveling a new character with all 12 runes. So that is something that is like, it's up in the air. I could see them going both ways, but the problem with SoD Fresh with those changes and choices is they're very controversial. You know, the XP buff would be controversial, the phasal system would be controversial, and Rune Broker would be controversial. Like, it's just three choices that people take hard stances. It's either a hard yes or it's a hard no, and there's no in between. So it's, do you sacrifice some of that convenience and quality of life for what's hopefully a better experience with the game? I don't know. Then we have SoD Hardcore. So obviously this comes from me doing the Hardcore challenge and really enjoying it. And I thought, you know, people did dabble with SoD Hardcore on the when it first launched, and they pretty much all got to Kelris, and then they got dusted, if you know what I mean. He just absolutely blasted them. So some of the raids would be a little weird and require a bit of scaling, but I don't like it. If we have all 12 runes from the Rune Broker going into those level up raids wouldn't be too bad. Honestly, the only thing that would be really challenging is implementing hard modes. Like, you probably wouldn't want to do the hard modes, but if you've done any of the raids in SoD and you have the hard modes off, they're actually really easy. They're very similar to their just straight up classic raids. They have a lot more HP and maybe a few more mechanics, but they're not that bad. And I think SoD raiding hardcore would actually be easier than normal hardcore raiding, because you have so many abilities, so many kits, so many things you can utilize and make work. Obviously, like weird stuff like Nax Trash might kill a few people if you're not locked in and paying attention, but with all the power we have in SoD, you could really start to do raids on like an easier mode, and then, you know, if you really want to challenge yourself, go in and be like, all right, we've hit that pinnacle, we're ready to try like hard mode raids on hardcore. And that would be a really cool, fun progression thing. I think it would be a hit personally, especially like exactly like what they did with the anniversary servers. Release fresh anniversary hardcore and release fresh era, and then you can just transfer your SoD hardcore character if it dies over to a fresh SoD server. So I think it would be fun, and, you know, we have a year and a half, and it would allow people to appreciate SoD again, because I think a lot of people quit in phase 1 and 2. And when they quit in phase 1 and 2, after that, they just never came back. And we're seeing a lot of people try to come back for phase 7 and phase 8. I can tell you my guys saying Ultimate Catch-Up guides and those things did absolutely amazing. And it's just really sort of like a recap video saying these are the systems and this is how you would naturally progress all the way up. And I think a lot of people wanted to see Karazhan Crypts and wanted to see Scarlet Enclave, but they didn't. They felt like when they came back, they were really, really far behind, and they would never catch up to the point where they could experience those, because they have such a high, they just straight up have a high gear requirement. Like, you just need the gear or you're not going to clear it. It's not too much gatekeeping. It's just the content's actually meant for in-game players who have been doing the stuff, who did AQ, who did Naxxramas, who are trying to do those things. So while it can be discouraging for a new player trying to see new stuff, I think that it's not too much gatekeeping, as it just really is hard and requires hitting certain DPS checks or gear checks. But I think the SoD Fresh would allow people to come back and give that a whirl. And, you know, we got a year and a half, assuming my timeline is accurate, to find out whatever's next. So in addition to MOP and TBC, it might be a really cool avenue and something that we could explore in order to enjoy the game. But anyway, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What are your thoughts? Would you like to see SoD Fresh? Would you like to see SoD Hardcore? It would just be, I think it'd be a cool, fun experience, and it would allow even more people to appreciate Season of Discovery. But those big three questions are XP buff, Rune Broker, and Phasal system, which all three of those have pros and cons, and I don't even know. I'd play whatever. Either way they did it, I would play it, and I think I'd have fun. But I feel like the community would take some really hard stances on both of those. So anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about SoD Fresh or SoD Hardcore. So until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.